Yeah, well, that's the question in this very studio. I think it was last week, and Chopper was there, actually, by Martin Daubney of GBNews. He mentioned in the comments that Suella Braverman had made last week about Britain being under control of Islamists. And I said, no, it's not. It's not in control. The Islamists are not in control of the UK. But I thought that London and Sadiq Khan was under the control. Now, when I see the scenes out in Parliament Square last Wednesday, Patrick, where we have thousands of people, and it happens every Wednesday now, it's almost every Wednesday, but when they're beaming a light onto the tower, the Elizabeth Tower, the Big Ben Tower, which says from the rivers to the sea, and then we see just a few months back, the whole of Whitehall was taken over. We've seen threats, we've seen wicked chants, we've seen all sorts of horrible things said on these marches around our great city, in our great city, around Parliament. And then we also see last Wednesday that I think that parliamentary procedure was altered, was changed because of the threats from the Bayern mob outside. That's unforgivable. We should never bow down to the mob outside. When I see all that, I think I have a right, I believe in free speech, to say that I think Mayor Khan has lost, and the police have lost control of the streets of London. I genuinely think they have. And you have to remember, I have Jewish friends living in this capital city, this wonderful capital city, that's helped build this city. And they are frightened to go out. They're frightened to identify themselves. They're having bodyguards at school or in extra security at school. It's absolutely shocking what's happening to our... This should be the greatest capital city on this planet.
To say that he's under the control of Islamists, though, okay, do you regret that turn of phrase?
It may be a clumsy use of language, but you've got to remember, Patrick, it was live TV. He's definitely not in control of the streets of London. On a Wednesday night, when we see the crowds out there chanting this vile venom, who's in control? Is it Sadiq Khan and the Metropolitan Police, or the people on the street?
But is it his fault, though, Lee? Because the point is that there's laws that stop you projecting words onto the building of Parliament. Martin Daubney, our colleague, filmed that with projector. Yes. That was being ignored by police. Yeah. You can't blame that on Sadiq Khan. That's an operational issue.
Has he spoke out about it, Chopper, since last Wednesday, from the rivers to the sea on Big Ben? Has Sadiq Khan actually spoken out about it?
He has no control over the police.
But has he spoken out about it?
No, he hasn't.
No, he hasn't spoken out about it. And actually, he is the Police and Crime Commissioner of this great city. So if he's the Police and Crime Commissioner and he's got no input into what the police are doing, what the hell is he doing? Why is he in that role?
Is there an issue of double standards and snobbery here? We've seen similar remarks to the ones that you made by now Lord Cameron. Zach Goldsmith, when he was running to be Mayor of London, made very similar remarks to you. They are of a different, shall I say, social strata, aren't they? What's your views on that?
Well, they went to different schools, Patrick, probably from a different background, more privileged than myself. And I don't know, because I wasn't around Parliament at the time when these comments were made by Zach and David Cameron. But I do know this. I'm in a lot more hot water for what I said than what my colleagues were several years ago. So I don't know why. Maybe the narrative has changed a little bit over the years. I don't know. I don't know why we're pandering to these people. You know, I'm a big believer in free speech. I admit some of my speech was a little bit clumsy at times, but my sentiment is exactly the same. We are losing control of this beautiful city to a tiny minority of extremists, and nobody seems to be doing anything about it. It absolutely makes me sick to the pit of my stomach to see these extremists on our streets in London terrorising people. And what do we say? It's unacceptable.
But unacceptable. But more recently than that, Suella Braverman wrote in the Telegraph last week, didn't she? Thursday, she talked about the Islamists. She spoke out against them and said that they are, in a sense, taking over parts of our society. That's Suella Braverman. Now, she's still got the whip, and you've had yours taken away. Is that because you're a working-class lad from Ashfield?
I don't know. I think the sort of argument is this, because I picked out one specific person, i.e. Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London.
Oh, yeah.
But when I speak about Sadiq Khan and London, they are in the same breath. They are the same person. Sadiq Khan is London. He runs London. He's responsible for everything. He is Mr. London. So I stick by my words in that we have lost control, or losing control, of the city. When people, like I say, Patrick, again and again, can come out and demonstrate and shout murderous chants and put these graphics onto Big Ben from the river to the sea, and nothing happens. We've got yobbos running around with masks on, which is now illegal, and the police stand idly by and do nothing. Who has got control of Parliament Square? Is it the extremists, or is it Mayor Khan and the Metropolitan Police?
There is a marked difference in the reaction, as Chopper was alluding to there, when it comes to certain people making very similar comments to you and yourself making those comments. I mean, is there some sense that maybe you're an easier target because you're a working-class bloke who maybe talks in more pub language?
You think I'm a thick northerner, Patrick?
I'm certainly not.
I don't know. I suppose I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And sometimes I do speak in a different language to a lot of people in Parliament. And when I went into the pubs in Ashfield at the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which I did, I got a round of applause when I went in. And these are normal working class people. Now, some people over in that place might not like that sort of response, but this is what normal people are thinking in places like Ashfield. My inbox has exploded with support. I cannot keep up with my WhatsApp messages, my text messages, my Facebook messages, Instagram, whatever social media platform I'm on. The amount of support coming through is absolutely phenomenal. They're saying, Lee, please speak out for us. Don't back down. Don't apologise, because you're speaking for millions of people across the country.
But have you picked the wrong target? The right target might be, why did the police allow that to happen? Why didn't they use the laws available on mask wearing, on shining words on the Parliament? No, listen, why didn't they do that? Why not step in and enforce the law that you MPs have passed, instead of getting involved in a battle about Islamism with the Mayor of London, who obviously clearly denies all that? I mean, you personalised a row and got yourself in trouble. Suella Braverman didn't do that, and she still got the whip. You made a mistake, right?
Chopper, I sit on the Home Affairs Select Committee, and I do criticise the police on a regular basis. I've had the Met boss in the chair, and I did give him a bit of a roasting. I've had Home Office officials in there as well. I do the same. So that's where I do my job, criticising the Metropolitan Police. Now, I can criticise them all day long. Are they listening? Probably not. And I feel sorry for the officers on the ground, who I've got the greatest of respect for, but it's the chiefs. It's not the Indians, it's the chiefs. It's the Mayor Khans, and it's the boss of the Met Police. Now, if Mayor Khan is not coming out on TV or any media channel and saying this is disgusting what's happening on our streets in London, we should not have these graphics being flashed onto Big Ben. This is shocking, this is terrible, I will clamp down on this. If he's not saying that, then he's lost control. And you can't blame the police for this. He controls the police, that's his job.
Is there an overreaction from Rishi Sunak here, and has he lost the red wall?
Is that what he said?
Has he lost the red wall?
No, I don't think so. Look, I've always said for the past 18 months or so, people in the red wall who voted Conservative the first time are looking for a reason to vote for us again. There is no...
In taking your whip away, has that done a huge amount of damage in the red wall?
I don't know. That remains to be seen, Patrick. I'm just one person. Who's, got into a little bit of hot water over the past few days over comments that I made. I don't know, but my inbox suggests that there's a lot of support out there for what I have to say. But whether it affects the red wall or not, I don't know.
Mayor Khan has written an article in today, Monday, the Evening Standard. He says that your comments were racist, anti-Muslim, and Islamophobic, and he goes on to say, why isn't Rishi Sunak calling them out for what they are?
Yeah, well, this is the man who's been in hot water himself for comments he's made in the past. I can remember when he was on, I think it was Iranian TV at one time, calling people Uncle Toms, and had to make a grovelling apology. So it's a bit rich coming from Sadiq Khan, and he's also, been on the platforms with, some dodgy people in the past.
And he's apologised for those too. He said before, I regret giving the impression I subscribe to their views, and I'm quite clear I find their views abhorrent. Yeah. He said sorry, why won't you?
Because I'm not sorry, Chopper, because I stand by my words. It's not racist to call out Islamists. Islamists, or Islamism, is a political...
But Khan isn't Islamist, is he?
No, it's not. I never said he was. So if you watch the clip again, it's been twisted. I never said he was an Islamist at all. But when I'm calling out these people are organising these marches, these horrible marches, these cruel marches in London. When I call them out, I'm calling out a tiny minority of the Muslim population. I said on my statement, which I gave you this morning, that 99% or whatever, the vast majority of Muslims in this country, decent, hard-working people that make a contribution. But there's a small section of this, and it's the same in all walks of society, any religion, there's a small percentage that will go out and cause
How many
problems.
do you know who are Muslim? How many friends of yours are Muslim?
Well, I've got a few in Parliament and a few back home.
What do they say to you when they see your remarks from last night?
Well, the ones in Parliament are not very happy about the remarks, but what I say to them is, my comments weren't racist. You can be a white person and be Muslim. You can be Chinese and be a Muslim. You can be an African and be a Muslim. So it's not racist. And this Islamophobia, I don't really understand what that means other than you're criticising what's in the Quran or a religion. It's okay to criticise a religion. You know, I don't believe that much in Christianity. I believe in evolution. But when I say that, are they going to say I'm Christianophobic? I'm against Christian. No, I'm not. That's up to you if you want to go to church and preach. It's up to you if you're a Muslim. You do whatever you want to do. So Islamophobia is not racist. I don't even know why we've got this word.
Do you think that there is a tendency to hide behind the word Islamophobia? Because now, rightly or wrongly, the conversation is more about, almost entirely about, actually, Islamophobia, as opposed to radical, fundamental, extreme Islamism, which many people believe is a problem, right?
Well,
and I would put it to you that, although this absolutely obviously was not your intention, your comments have now allowed the conversation, yet again, as we see so often in these situations, to be dragged back towards Islamophobia and away from trying to deal with radical terrorism and extremism.
Well, it is, but let's decide what Islamophobia is, Patrick. Is it blasphemy? Because I think that's sort of where we're going with this. You know, if you blaspheme against the Lord, that is blasphemy. And I think Islamophobia is pretty much the same thing if you're a Muslim. These things aren't illegal. It's not illegal to criticise a religion at all in this country. But we're talking about something completely different. We're talking about Islamists, a political ideology that are intent on interfering with Parliament over there, like they didn't last week. And it worked last week, and it's very dangerous, Patrick, that due to the threats, the Speaker, he felt that he had to change parliamentary process in that place because of threats to MPs. So this is Islamists, directly, really. You could say it's indirect, but I think directly, that's influencing what goes off in Parliament.
Does your party have a problem with Islamophobia? Your old party, forgive me. Well, you're probably still a member of the Tory party, but...
I am, yeah. What is it? Islamophobia? Criticising what's in the Quran? Is that acceptable?
Well, the government currently won't adopt any definition of Islamophobia.
Exactly.
But not doing it is part of the problem, that the Tory party has got a blind spot on this issue.
Islamophobia is, I think it's equivalent to blasphemy. That's what it is. You're criticising a religion, the teachings in the Quran, whatever. Are we entitled to do that?
And what you're criticising...
I'm not criticising it.
No. From what my interpretation of what you're saying is, from what you're criticising, you're criticising hardline religious fundamentalist political movement that you think is
probably happened to be Muslims. Like I say, but the vast majority, 99.9% of Muslims, are just decent, hard-working people who crack on with their life. I've had lots of support in my WhatsApp, an amazing amount of support.
Which party?
What do you mean, which party?
Is it all just Tory MPs saying well done? Is it Labour MPs?
No, there's no Labour MPs. I mean, they're calling me to be, stripped of the whip forever. Obviously, they're making political gain out of this. Obviously, it deflects from the shenanigans we saw last Wednesday in the chamber. So it's, if I've got one regret, it's my timing, because I've sort of took the heat off Zakir and the Speaker. I feel a little bit sorry for the Speaker. I thought he was actually bullied into what he did, to be honest. I don't think he's he's always been a fair man with me anyway. So that's probably me, no regret. But I have got some names in my phone now, but I'm not going to tell you who they are. Some people that actually surprised me with words of support.
Why do you think they won't come out and publicly say it, though? Is that not part of the problem?
That's probably my job to do that, Patrick, because I never intended on having a career over there. I want to come down here and speak my mind. I want to speak up on behalf of people in Ashfield and the rest of the country.
Is this not part of the problem, though, Lee, as far as you're concerned, which is that you're saying we've got MPs who are coming out and supporting you, but they feel as though they can't come out and say that publicly?
Well, there might be several reasons for that, Patrick, whether they feel they might get pressure from colleagues or from people, camped outside the gates now, or the media. There's lots of reasons, and I won't expect anybody to come out, and I won't ask anybody to come out and say, look, come out publicly and support me. They've got their own reasons, they've got their own families, their own jobs to crack on with, and they'll do what's right for them, and that's fair enough by me.
Where does it leave you now, then, Lee? You're without a party.
Yeah.
you were you were a Labour councillor, weren't you, until
Yeah, I was,
2019. The first time you became a Tory MP, well, the first time you voted Conservative. I mean, that was the journey you've been on.
Yeah.
We've got a statement here from Richard Tice, also a presenter on GB News. I do not and will not give a running commentary on any discussions I have with any MPs, but those MPs have my number after 300 words supporting what you've done. I mean, that's like a 311-word invitation to join the Reform Party, isn't it?
Well, like Richard says, Chopper, I won't give a running commentary either on...
Not saying no, then.
Well, I mean, that's a typical journalist approach into yes. It's a yes/no question, isn't it? I have been on a political journey, and it's been an incredible journey, and I'm incredibly proud to be sat in there. And we've done some good work since the Conservative Party was it, despite what people think. But this is a distraction. It's a distraction that I really didn't want. But there's 650 of us in that place over there, and we see what's going off on Parliament Square every single week now. It's terrifying. And if not one person in that chamber can speak up about what's going off on our streets, then really, we shouldn't be there.
But, sorry, just a yes or no question. Will you join the Reform Party? You're not saying yes or no there, and Richard Tice is saying clearly you'd be welcome in his party.
Yeah. Well, like I said, Chopper, I've been on a political journey, so you'll spin this any way you want.
No, I'm fine.
You'll say Lee Anderson doesn't rule out joining the Reform Party and stuff like that. So I'm making no comment on my future. I shall be sat in the chamber this afternoon on the Conservative benches, and there's no votes today, but there'll be votes tomorrow. I'll be voting with the government.
Just lastly on this then, do you feel let down by Rishi Sunak over this?
Here's another trap.
So with respect, I understand. I know that you're in a bit of hot water at the minute. I genuinely don't mean it as a trap. I just want your own personal answer.
I think the party could have given me a little bit more backing, if I'm honest. You saw the statement that I produced on Saturday, which I was willing to go with. It's shown a little bit of contrition in there, although I didn't directly apologise to Mayor Khan, which I'm not going to. Not why I've got a breath in my body, because the comments I made weren't racist at all. They keep banning this word Islamophobia about. Nobody can explain what it really means.
And will you be a candidate for the Tory party in the next election?
Well, that's not up to me. That's out of my hands at the moment, Chopper. But I will be standing at the next election.